Hey everybody, Justin from the Camera Shop in Muskegon, coming to you Facebook Live, 4:30 here Michigan time, and I've got a special guest with us today from ThinkTank. It's ThinkTank Photo, right?
Yes,
Jo-
ThinkTank photo.
so I've got Joshua Cervantes, who is the national sales manager over at ThinkTank Photo, ThinkTank MindShift. I just want to thank him coming on board today and doing this Facebook Live with us. Josh, thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you.
Coming to us from California, right?
Yeah, Santa Rosa, California, in my humble abode, my little home. So
Still
anything happens back
practicing,
home.
still practicing social distancing over there.
Still practicing social distancing, so probably won't be back for another 2 or 3 weeks, I guess. We'll see.
Nice. Have you gotten stir crazy yet, or is it kind of nice? It's kind of relaxing, or
Yeah, for the first part, it was kind of relaxing, but getting kind of stir crazy. It's kind of
now?
tough because we have some really gorgeous days out here in California. So
And
just
and you
hanging out
guys,
here.
you guys can't go outside yet, or is it
We
frowned
can.
upon? Okay.
It's no, we can. We're allowed to go around our neighborhood, so walks around the block, down the street, that kind of stuff, and their essential shopping, that kind of stuff
Okay.
is okay. So, but this last month, we're just slowly kind of easing back out there. We're allowed to kind of go out to certain restaurants that have outdoor seating and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So we're starting to slowly open up,
Yeah.
but
Eh,
you know, it
Well,
is what it is.
yeah. I mean, it's only 2 more weeks, right, or something like that. I mean,
Hopefully, yeah,
we've been open for retail for since Tuesday of last week, and now like Thursday, it'll be lifted, so like there's no limitations. It's kind of almost back to normal, but you still can't go see the barber, or there's some other restrictive things. So
yep,
we're just waiting through that, and we'll see what gets us past that. But I'm glad that you're doing okay. I'm actually really happy that you're able to do this live broadcast with us because we've had Olympus on with us, we've had Sony on with us, we've had Sigma and some other photographers on with us, but we don't normally get to see. For those of you who don't know, we don't get to see kind of some of our other product lines. Like we get to see cameras and lenses, but now we're getting somebody who can do, who does bags and some other gear, right?
yeah, definitely. This is kind of great. We rarely do this too, just because it seems to be more techie and that stuff. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that goes into bags that people just don't quite understand. And it's interesting when I started this company or started working for the company, just the small attention to detail that they really put into these bags. It's quite remarkable, and it's a great company to work for, and they really know what they're doing. So it's nice to be here and answer those questions and kind of give you guys an insight of what we do and why we do it.
Well, and that's actually why we wanted to do this. I mean, there's two reasons. There's a couple reasons why we have you on today. I mean, for one, we'll get to uh, like there's a big promotion, so that's kind of one thing. We're kind of heading
Mm-hmm.
off this big promotion you guys have going on. And by the way, I've got some guys chiming in. Jason Helmer, who's one of our good customers, he says, "Hey guys," and my buddy Kenny, good. He's kind of like our store ambassador. He goes, Think Tank Bags rock. So hey, thanks Kenny for tuning in.
Definitely, thank you.
Uh, so first off, tell us a little bit about yourself, Josh. I kind of introduced you. We know you're the national sales manager. But how did you get started? Are you a photographer yourself? How did you get started with the company? Just a little bit of a background on who you are and how you got the position that you're in as the national sales manager.
Oh, sure. Well, let's see. I've been a photographer for about 30 years. So started when I was about 10. Kind of worked my way through. Got interested, junior high or yeah, high school, junior high, and then so on. So I've really been into photography. And then from there, I kind of graduated into like, well, what can I do and enjoy my job. And part of it was working at a camera store. It was kind of first for the love of it and also the discounts. But for the most part, it was really nice just kind of working with people who had the same passion as I did for photography.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you just kind of gradually grow. I went from just a store clerk to managing a store, and then ThinkTank had a opening, so I thought, well, I've already been in retail for so long. Let me try the kind of like the back end, so to speak, in the manufacturing side. So got my foot in the door from there, and just kind of worked my way up, and I am here now as a national sales manager, which is very unique, and I'm very happy to be where I'm at.
So, what are some of the responsibilities of a national sales manager? I mean, you have the entirety of the country, or is it like Canada, Mexico? What do you have to deal with?
Pretty much, I take care of just the United States. So I take care of all the retail. It's not just me; it's a small team, but
Mm-hmm.
we take care of all the retail stores. Like yourself and other locations. Make sure you guys are up to date with the new products. Give you training or answer questions when you need to. So that's a big part of it. The other part of it is our direct sales. So we also make sure that we take care of our customers who email us directly if they have questions on bags or warranty or anything like that. We're always there. So it's not much different than the retail department where you're helping out your local photographers. It's just in a kind of a bigger scope. The big thing with ThinkTank is we're 100% customer service, and you just take that and you just enlarge it to the U.S. So we're taking care of everybody and their needs, basically.
So vendors, it's kind of like vendors become customers, but you still
Mhm.
have customers outside of your vendors. So you're taking care of accounts like Muskegon here, the camera
Yep.
shop in Muskegon, and you've got accounts all over the country. I mean, if you know this number off the top of your head, like how many accounts do you manage, like vendor accounts, if that's something that you can share?
Yeah, we have probably just over about 100
Okay,
vendor accounts. So
and
there's
and
quite a few out there.
does that kind of represent like all the camera store, like small camera stores, like brick and mortar? Are there some bigger accounts in there too, like bigger, big box stores?
That'd be everything. So
Okay.
from your mom and pop to your bigger big box stores, that kind of stuff. So just all ranges. And that's just individual accounts. They all have their own amount of say doors, we call them. So for example, here in Los Angeles, we have like Sandy's Camera, and they have multiple, I think like 7 in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more than 100, but 100 individual accounts that are individual companies.
Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, it's just nice to know that there's 100 different companies. Again, you were kind of talking about the spider web effect. That even though you might have one store represented in name only,
Hmm.
there may be 7 stores under that one number. It's kind of like the camera shop is one of 5, I
Yes,
believe.
exactly. That's true.
So we've got 12 right there outside of those 100. So I mean, you
Yeah.
can do some exponential math. So getting to for anyone who's tuning in, this is also an open Q&A, so if you guys have any questions as we're going along, feel free to drop those in the feed. We'd be happy to entertain those. But getting back to outside of like what you do as a national sales manager, what's some of the backstory to ThinkTank and MindShift? Because I know, I've got my first introduction with ThinkTank MindShift at CES. I know
Hmm.
the first year I went, I think it was like 2014 or 2013. I can't remember, but I remember, I just saw the Think Tank bags. I know in school, when I was in college, I had an earlier version of the Streetwalker series,
Hmm.
and from there, like a couple years later at CES, you guys had MindShift. So can you give us a little history of
Oh
the
yeah.
company, like how it got started and how there's kind of been this shift from Think Tank into MindShift and what the two differences are between them?
Sure. Well, back in let's see, it's been about 15 years. So 2005 is when Think Tank got started. It was started by our 4 founders. 2 of them were bag designers, and 2 of them were professional photographers, and they got together to basically solve a problem, and that was organization and access to your gear. So that's kind of how Think Tank started. Is they got together and they're like, we need a bag that we have quick access to and organizes what I need. So when I'm out in the field, I'm not fumbling around all these different things, trying to find this. It's all nice and neat, and it's quick and easy to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So that started back in 2005. So from there, we just kind of expanded and growing, and then about 5 years into it, in 2010, we got together with another photographer, and they started talking about engaging with nature. So we kind of expanded from ThinkTank being kind of the urban photographer. It was more for photojournalists and like wedding photographers and that kind of stuff. To like, well, we have this other need for bags and organization for the outdoor photographer. So that's where MindShift came in. MindShift started out as a Kickstarter with the rotation packs, the rotation
Interesting.
180.
I'm pretty good on those, and I forget. I'm almost thinking now that you say that, I remember seeing that earlier. So that's interesting that a lot of
Yep.
companies around that time frame were kind of starting out like that. So yeah, continue
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we started off with, the rotation packs from there, and then we kind of expanded a few years after that into a more traditional style backpack, which would be the First Light. Those are our first more traditional, non-rotating bags that were more built for the outdoors. And when I say the outdoors versus what's the difference between outdoors and the urban, we look at the outdoors and we look for things to add that make it more comfortable for long hikes or walks in nature, climbing, that kind of stuff. We look for places to put more water bottles, more hydration packs, that kind of thing. More stuff that you would need that's not just camera gear. So that's where MindShift would come in. Is it's made for that purpose, is to do more outdoor activity than the urban access, or the urban stuff, which would be ThinkTank, which is more slick, discreet, just kind of the camera gear, not adding too much extras because most likely, you're just going to go out for, a day or a short walk, that kind of stuff. So that's the main difference between the two. And then a few years ago, I think it's been 2 years now, they were kind of separate companies. And then, which was odd because, internally it was the same. It was the same people. The same people designed both, just on paper. It was two different companies, and we kind of got together and we put them together. So ThinkTank kind of absorbed MindShift gear with the intentions of just kind of making life easier for all of us, paperwork-wise. It was like wearing two hats.
Yeah.
But so that happened about 2 years ago. So now it's just one big company. And we look forward to continuing on both brands and bringing future stuff from there.
Cool. So I'm trying to think with is being the emphasis with the outdoors. I know that there's some bigger design differences. I mean, do you guys what are like are you tackling certain things? Like I know like when I look at the urban side, like the Think Tank, I don't get a lot of like the weather sealed zippers. There's different materials used. Is like, do you know what the thought process is going behind that? I mean, I know that there's like outdoor activities, but is there a certain like stress test on certain bags that you guys kind of look for? Um,
Yeah, we test everything. So we try to do everything that we can to a bag or the materials prior to actually bringing it out. So when it comes to MindShift, we'll lay it out in the sun for weeks on end or whatever. We'll test it with abrasion, because those elements are going to be a little bit more harsher than the Think Tank side. So we're on the Think Tank side. Some of the stuff is it may not be rubbing against, say, rocks or something like that as much. That's where MindShift would come in. So we'll test, make sure that it doesn't go through or it doesn't fade, that kind of stuff. So it's really emphasis on the outdoors. So for example, I know you're a big fan of the photocross. So we have weatherproof zippers on there to kind of help hold back a little bit more moisture, because you never know if you get splashed, rained, or you're walking through and waterfall or something like that. You'll get splashed on. You just want that little extra coverage, just in case, because last thing you want is water in your bag.
yeah.
So it's definitely looked at to more of an outdoor environment than Think Tank would be more on indoor or urban environment, where you most likely won't be coming up with the same kind of issues that you would out there in the wild, so to speak.
Yeah, and that brings up a really good question as far as like you're building these bags for integrity on both sides of the aisle. Whether it's urban use or the outdoor use. I noticed that you guys do. You guys are worried about protection. I do see the build quality in each bag, but you guys also do rain covers for each one, correct?
We do. Pretty much every bag that we manufacture will come with a rain cover. So, everything that we design is, number one, is high quality. We don't use cheap materials or anything like that. So we want to make sure that it's as durable as possible, the best of the best, basically. And then so when it comes to like the rain, everything that we do is it's rain resistant. So if you're gonna walk a block or two and it's just mildly sprinkling, no problem. You don't have to worry about taking your bag off or anything like that. But if it's like a downpour, like torrential rain, that kind of stuff, then you're going to want to use the rain cover. And that's because the rain covers are seam sealed, which means that there's no way that water will penetrate it. Unlike eventually, if you leave the bag out in the rain, you give it 2-3 hours, water will eventually soak through. It's just kind of a fact. So using the rain cover will allow you to take it out in the rain for days on end because it's sealed. So
Okay. And how long? I mean, is there kind of like I know like earlier I had like a day poncho or something like that, and that would kind of only stand up to like 2 hours of like a downpour or a constant rain. Is there any kind of limit to like the rain covers or your guys' bags? Is there any kind of time limit, like continuous rain?
I haven't really heard of any like time limit. I personally, one thing I do is I do shoot professionally as well. And I've been out in the rain with a couple of my packs about 7 hours or so, and have not had any issues.
Okay.
The wettest would be your shoulder pads, but my bag and all my equipment inside were high and dry, which was great.
That is good.
So.
And as far as talking about integrity goes, what is the warranty on ThinkTank and MindShift bags? Like, what do you guys cover? What are some of the things that you would typically see that people might not think are conventionally covered, that you guys would cover under your warranty? How does that work?
Well, our warranty is like a lifetime manufacturer warranty, and basically with the materials we use, it's more kind of like wear and tear we don't cover. So that being said, our materials are meant to be used every day professionally, for a good 4 or 5 years and maybe then some. That's kind of when you start to see the wear and tear. Really, our rollers are the one thing that we try to do a little bit extra. And for example, our wheels and anything that is on the roller, like a handle, a wheel, the back plates, those things will get scuffed, and those actually will kind of have more wear and tear longer than the bag itself. And those we actually will replace for people at no charge. Usually you just call us up and say, hey, my wheels, have worn down. Can you give me another set? And, we'll say, yeah, no problem. You just give us a call and we'll just send them to you, that kind of stuff. So, our warranty does go beyond just, the stuff. We try to make sure that the bag, continues on as long as it can.
And is that something like, do you encourage people who purchase your products to come back to like someone like us, the vendor, or do you encourage them to contact and reach out to your customer support to kind of take care of that?
We kind of prefer our customer service to report that or to take care of it, just because it's a lot easier. It kind of gets rid of the middleman. Certainly, I would never ever say like don't go to your local camera store,
Sure.
because we do have camera stores that are really good at being the middleman, and we can definitely take care of it that way if you prefer. But a lot of times, just for the sake of time wise and speed, we can just send it direct to the customer right away. So it's usually a phone call, and then within a day or two, it's shipped, and they will be at their doorstep. But again, it's the same. If you give us a call, we can definitely send that to say you guys, and that wouldn't be a problem either.
Now, is it something where like if I had a damaged bag from is that something I send to you, or how does that work? I mean, am I normally sending something your way?
Yeah. So for if we're talking about damaged bags, I guess I was talking about more of the small parts, that kind of stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So if I have a missing rain cover or something that didn't come with it, it's like 2 days. You've got something
Oh yeah, easily.
shipping out. Okay.
Yeah, but for other warranties, it's definitely better to contact us because we can take a look at all the issues
Mm-hmm.
and we can see and make sure that it's it is a warranty issue or whatnot. And
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes we can look at it and go, oh well, maybe if you do it, if you fix it this way, or we can send you this piece. It's quick and easy.
Sure.
So
Okay. Yeah, and I know I've used that. Like one time I had somebody an issue with like one of the turnstile bags with like a clip or something, and
mhm.
when Gene was still there, he's like, "Oh yeah, no problem." And then like 2 days later, we got the part, and our customer was taken care of. So,
Yep, same.
um, yeah, I just kind of giving everyone, yeah, kind of enlightening everyone as to how that process might work if they ever had to exercise that.
Yep, definitely.
So the real, like, one of the big reasons why we have you on, and not just to talk about some of the bags that I've surrounded myself with. I almost feel like E.T. in the closet, with all the stuffed animals around him. It's just short of that.
Yep.
Um, and actually, I think we're thinking about doing a promo photo like that. Is I'll sit up against the wall and we'll pack a bunch of bags around me, and my face will be in the center of all
Hey,
it.
that'd be great.
Yeah, when we get midway through our this promo. But tell us about, you guys just launched this cool promo June 1st.
Hmm.
It runs through June 21st. Can you tell our viewers what that promo is all about?
Yeah, so basically that promotion is 20% off, and that is with all ThinkTank and MindShift gear products. So whether it's a bag or a filter case or even a memory card wallet, you can get 20% off in the store, online, but in store definitely. And it's going for a few weeks, and that's just kind of to help things out. Move the needle a little bit per se,
Yeah.
especially since we don't really go on sale that often. It's
Mm-hmm.
very rare that we have something like this, and we thought this would help out everyone out there. So
Well, I think it's perfect timing. I mean, a lot of the things like we were just talking about at the beginning of our broadcast, some things are starting to open up. Things are still
hmm
like starting to get going, and we're I know there's some states that are open for business, but it's really kind of almost like to be like, you know through all of this, they've encouraged kind of getting out and exercising. And what perfect way than to grab your camera and stretch your legs and go shooting. And I've kind of see this as like, this is like, kick off your summer in the best way possible. Get a one of the best camera bags in the industry, at 20% off. So that's something I kind of see it as well.
oh, definitely. And if anything, whether you're getting a bag to take out with you, or even just to organize. I mean, I can't tell you, being stuck at home for so long, it's been tough. But one thing I've been able to do is look at my bags and just kind of reorganize everything the way I want it, and have it more prepared for when it's time to go out there. I'm ready to go. So um, I've organized quite a bit, and not just in my bags, but in my house in general. But it's a good thing to do, is to just get organized.
Yeah, and as a photographer, like as a professional photographer, it's good to be organized because you never know, if you accidentally leave something at home for a shoot, it can be detrimental,
Oh yeah,
and I don't know if you've had to deal with that a couple times. You learned that hard lesson. Um,
you sure do.
you probably have stories. I know I've got a couple, and I've had customers who come in who are, they're kind of desperate. They're driving up north, and they're like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to do this big shoot, 45 minutes away, and I'm 45 minutes away from my home, and I don't want to drive back because my time doesn't allow me." So yeah, being organized is a big deal.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I've had many incidences where I've oddly enough, when I wasn't working for ThinkTank, it was probably a little bit easier. But with ThinkTank now, I have quite an assortment of bags. Probably your collection alone, I probably have upstairs. And just trying to remember where all my stuff is in every bag has
Hmm.
been kind of tough. But yeah, definitely that's what's nice about our stuff, is we try to have everything organized, whether it's just in the bag, just the small pieces, like our cable managements and our wallets and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely been very helpful to make sure and have a checklist with all of my stuff, and make sure it's all in the bag. So that
So
was great.
that's a good tip. Outside of having a good bag, is just as a photographer getting a checklist and just you know practicing what Santa Claus does once a year, making sure you got
Yes.
everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, good.
Definitely.
So a lot of people, I've kind of talked to people about camera bags. Kind of, a lot of people think they need like one camera system, and as of late, I've kind of gotten into this mindset that cameras are tools, to achieve a certain job. And as a photographer yourself, do you find that bags are kind of the same way? That it's almost kind of like clothes in the closet. You never can be too over prepared for certain situations. Like, are you somebody who has different types of bags for different occasions?
Oh yeah, my years in the industry, and just as a photographer, I found that there is no one bag for everything. There
So
just isn't.
there's no silver bullet out there.
There is not,
Okay.
and I have multiple bags depending on what I do. So, if I'm shooting a wedding, I'm usually going to carry a roller, maybe two, depending on the size of the wedding, and then like a backpack or like a sling bag or my modular kit. And then if I'm going to go out hiking or that kind of stuff, well, then I'm going to take my backpack, like maybe the Backlight or the Photocross 13, that kind of thing. And then if I'm going to go travel, that's even different. So I got to find out, well, what airlines am I going to use? What, size planes? What can I carry? What cannot carry? Am I just going to take my camera gear? Do I need my laptop? That kind of stuff. So then I have another set for when I travel abroad or, even within the States. So, I have multiple bags for doing multiple things, and it just depends on exactly what I'm doing. So,
Cool. Yeah. Do you have a favorite out of all those? Like for kind
yeah.
of the, like, we'll say, just kind of the everyday. I'm just gonna kind of carry one camera, maybe a couple lenses, just have fun shooting. What bag is that for you? What's your favorite bag?
Well, I have probably two. One of them is going to be my Photocross 13 backpack. That
Okay.
is one of my favorites.
And
Um,
what are you putting in that? What kind of camera?
So I've switched over from I've shot pretty much everything, but I'm now more Fuji than anything. So
Okay.
I shoot the Fuji right now. I have the T2. Hopefully, get the T4 one of these days.
Yeah. Yeah. That just came out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. So saving up for that one.
Stabilization. Yeah. Stabilization
No
inside the
kidding.
camera. Yeah. That's awesome.
Exactly.
I love that sensor. I mean, that sensor technology is awesome. If they could kind of like, if Olympus and Fuji got together and made like, you know, I would love that camera. But we'll see how their 5-axis image stabilization is. I'm really excited for the XT4.
Yeah, me too. That's kind of I'm definitely looking for that. So, but yeah, I'll grab those and put those in my photocross and just head on out. But Fuji's been kind of my go-to lately. So,
What was it before that? Just out of curiosity.
oh, before that was Canon. I was shooting a lot of Canon.
Okay, like
So,
5D series
I
or
had
1D.
the 7D, and then I had a couple of the let's just gonna go back, but I had like the 20D, the
Okay,
30D,
okay,
40D. So I always
all
had the
right.
crop sensor.
Yeah, yeah. The classics. That's what I started on. I started on a 10D, 20D, then the 7D, and then a 5D3, and then Sony, caught my attention and
Yeah,
they stole my heart. So I still have my 5D3, but it's more or less collecting dust at this point. I've got two A7s. I got an A7R2 and A7 III, and Canon's just not. It's nice for weddings and stuff, but I'm not doing those as much anymore. So, you
yeah.
know,
It's for me. It's always been just traveling. I always wanted to
yeah,
bring everything, and with Canon, the gear tends to be a little bit bigger. So with Fuji, it's just a nice, happy medium, a lot smaller.
yeah.
I'm carrying more gear now, though. I'm bringing more lenses than I ever have been before, so my weight's about the same. But I do love it. So, and
Yeah.
they make some good
Well,
stuff.
they've got a great sensor, great color technology, and
Hmm.
if you like that analog feel, you come from an analog system. It's a great, it's kind of a great
Oh
bridge
yeah,
for someone who's coming from old school to new school. You can shoot both ways. You can shoot automatic, but if you like that tactile feel of like, well, I want my shutter to be 1/60th of a second, you just
yeah.
click it
It's
over.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice. So real quick, I kind of wanted to go through, maybe just kind of highlight some of the bags that I'm a fan of, and maybe you can tell
Yeah,
us a little bit about them. Is that something we can do?
yeah. Let's definitely do it.
Okay. I will start with, I think, one of the latest ones that you guys did,
Hmm.
the Urban Access series. That's still relatively brand new.
It is. It's about a year, I guess. It came out last year, midway.
And I've got, this is the 8, so this is the turnstile, not the turnstile, the Urban Access 8.
Hmm.
And there's two kind of ambidextrous, this is like an ambidextrous sling that you guys have.
Yes. So we have the 8 and the 10. Those are both sling packs. The beauty of those is they are, like you said, you can use them on any shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
either the left or the right, and you can switch back and forth. So,
Because
you
you
know,
have this neat little system down here with the Velcro tabs that you can move.
Exactly, and it just swings, and then you can use it on the left shoulder if you want to. It's got access points on either side, so again, it doesn't matter if you're left-handed, right-handed, or your shoulders on either one. You can get quick access to it. Yep, there you go.
And that's the same on, just to show everyone we're not fibbing right here. You can see right through to the other side.
Yep, pass through, which is great.
Yeah. And that's brilliant. That's one thing. Like, I came from like being a Tamrac bag fan, because they had that side access over one side. And so when I saw that, like, that kind of bridge of the Golf with like the Turnstile series, and then you guys started doing it with this, I like, hands down, it's just brilliant, because you guys did it with it was the Trifecta series. This is kind of like the rebirth of the Trifecta.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It very much it kind of is. With this bag, we had a lot of customers call in, and other photographers, and that's another key thing that it separates us from others is, we really do listen to our customer base. And, when people tell us, like, oh, you should do this, we take that, write it down, we give it to the designers and say, we're getting some questions on, like, why don't we do something like this? And then we test it out, make sure it works, the way it should. And, then we go, well, let's make it, And this is kind of one of those things is, a lot of people out there would say, like, I love my sling bag, but, it really gets heavy over time. Or, I really love my bag, but I'm left-handed. And when I get my stuff, it's really tough for me because I'm just a left-handed kind of person. And this is one of those answers to that is we got a lot of people calling in and, giving us, like, saying, like, this is a problem, what can you guys do? Or, maybe you can think about something, how to fix it. And this was a fix for that exact problem, is it allows you to get either side and use either shoulder. And, it's been a great bag.
And the pockets on both sides, because you guys have an accessory flap right here.
Yep.
On the left and right side, they're a mirror version of each other on each side.
They are, and you can put your memory card wallets there. You can put a little pad or pen, small water bottle, that kind of stuff. So you can have a little bit of everything that you need with you at all times.
And I know there's something that you guys do a lot too. You've got this little tablet access area right here.
Yep.
You guys are really big on kind of having your smart devices, having like a special pocket for those.
We do. A lot of customers like to bring their tablet with them, that's one of the things we like to incorporate, whether it's a tablet or some sort of other device. Especially now as camera gears are getting better with their Wi-Fi capabilities, and even with, say, for example, Photoshop, doing the whole mobile thing, a lot of people are on the go. And whether you're just kind of walking through the city streets or something, and you just see a coffee shop and you just want to take a little break or have a little snack and coffee, and do some editing or load some things up, that's been kind of the trend. So incorporating that kind of stuff has been big with us because of that. Is we start seeing a trend, and we start getting a lot of customers saying, like, hey, I really wish it would hold this my tablet with me, because I do tend to bring that along on my shoots. So that's our answer, is we just make sure we incorporate everything that people are requesting in the bags that we produce.
So a lot of forward thinking as far as design goes. You guys are always kind of looking at what the next trend is going to be and trying to incorporate that into the bags. Now, this is just something that I just came off of the top of my head. I see that we've got the Urban Access 8, and I was just going to ask kind of like, hey, what's the perfect camera system for the Access 8 versus the 10? And I was thinking, like, I see like a trend with your bags being like 13 and 15. Does that mean like this fits an 8-inch tablet and this fits a 10-inch tablet? Or
on the ThinkTank side, it's going to usually be 8, like for the 8-inch tablets, and then the 10-inch tablets, and then for the backpacks, would be the 13-inch laptop and then the 15-inch laptop. So, of course, some that's changed with Mac with Apple and their new 16-inch. However, we've measured everything, and it seems to be that even though it may say 15, the 16-inch MacBook Pro should still fit, because it's really not that much size difference.
And I know, like with like even like the Airport Essentials, I think that's rated for a 13-inch laptop.
It is for a PC, and we can't say 15 because a lot of PCs tend to be a little bit bigger. But
the MacBooks can do a 15.
Yes, it can.
Yeah, and go ahead.
was gonna say yes, it can, because I used to carry a 15-inch MacBook Pro, the older version, which tends to be a little bit thicker. I think I don't know, like 2013 or something like that, way back then. But that thing fits in that perfectly. So
Yeah, and I love that bag. I take that with me everywhere. You were talking about traveling, and that can fit under most airplane seats. And if they ever tell me, like, "Excuse me,
mhm.
sir, you have to check that bag," I'm like, not in your life. You can kick me off this plane. You're not checking this bag.
Yep, and that
Uh,
one's designed to do that. That was one of those bags that people had a problem. They wanted to carry something and fit it nice and neat underneath the plane seat, and that bag will fit on most airlines. So
yeah,
it goes
I,
right underneath the seat.
I'll have to pull that out later just to show how much storage there is in that. But for the most part, like the XS 8, that's kind of like
Mhm.
most of your mirrorless design, you would say,
Yeah,
for
you're going
your
to be
stuff.
looking at like definitely Olympus and the 4/3 and
Hmm.
Panasonic. I would say you could do for Fuji. You're probably looking at like the T20, or actually the T30 now, like
Yeah. Yep.
the T30, maybe the E3, and those sizes. Um, and then for the 10, then you're looking at your Sony's.
Your your general SLRs, or
Yep,
smaller, like the larger
smaller
full frames.
SLRs,
Yeah.
full frame, mirrorless, that kind of stuff for the
And then
10
just
sling.
give people an idea of size here. It's just like probably as big as my torso here. And then like you guys have a backpack style of that as well, though.
We do, because the bigger sizes will do definitely the laptops, and then of course it has access on both sides.
Both sides
And
as well as the back. It looks like too.
yeah, I was just to say that the unique thing about this is, when you're putting things into the side, it's kind of hard to have access to your entire gear. So the beauty of this is that access panel in the back. So in the back panel, you can open that up and you have complete access to everything. So the nice thing about this is, this is actually one of my I have lots of favorites, and this is probably one of my newer favorites since it came out,
Hmm.
is you can set everything up the way you wanted it to, and then when you're out and about, you have that quick access on the side, so you don't have
Yeah.
to set your camera bag down completely.
Yeah, and you guys did something different. I noticed with the design. You've kind of got like these, like the pockets are a little. Some of them have Velcro on the both sides. You've got some specially designed Velcro ones right here. So
Yep.
you did some different hinging designs inside this bag, just to, like, especially down here. You got that special hinge, and you got the same hinge over here. So if you're left-handed or right-handed, you could switch how the camera with the grip goes in.
Yeah, you can switch on either side, and you can make it so it's just completely pass through, like a shelf unit if you wanted
Hmm.
to. So you can do it that way.
Yeah, that's why
Um,
that kind of kicks up like a swing door, so that the lens can go straight through.
exactly, and it just depends on which side you like to grab your camera gear from there. So you can have that hinge. So if you have a grip body or something like that, it's a lot easier to get to, and then you can just have a preference whether you want to grab it on the left side of you or the right hand side of you.
And on the opposite side, you've got the 13-inch laptop pad.
Yep, it will slide right in there.
Yep. And that's a substantial pad. I've never really felt that before. That's a pretty firm layer of foam right there.
Yeah,
And you guys have like your internal materials. Are they like a non-scratch like material for your interiors?
yeah, they shouldn't be scratching anything. So it'll be
Okay.
nice and safe for all your gear.
And the one thing I noticed, you guys did a cool thing too. You have that little, it's not just a handle, but that's for like your luggage. You can
It's
slide
a
your luggage through
it's
it.
it's a pass. It's for your pass through handle, so you can put it on your luggage. So when you're traveling and you don't want to carry on your back, you can actually put it right through. You can put your handle of your roller right through there,
Right through
and
that.
you don't have to carry any of the weight. Now it's just the wheels of your roller, which is
And,
nice.
and nice, you got the small back support, the shoulder support, and then the other thing I like that you guys did was the belly band is actually removable. It's
Yeah, we
and that
have.
was.
It's always been like a 50-50 with customers. Some people really love to have the belt on there. Some people don't. I'm one of those who don't. So to make it removable makes it really easy, because then you kind of satisfy a little bit of everybody.
And one of the other things, on top of that, you've got like a nice little cargo pocket on the top for snacks or whatnot if you're hiking.
Yep,
And then you've got the incorporated tripod mounts. Those are actually built into the bag on this one, correct?
correct. And then the bottom will be for the feet.
Yeah, there's a little foot down here that pulls out that you can put the feet into.
Yep. Yeah, the beauty of that bag is definitely the quick access on the sides, but also, again, like you just pointed out, that top pocket is great. So for those quick things that you just need to grab that you don't want to take everything out or go through it all, like a wallet or again, like you said, your snacks, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I'll put some of my travel batteries for my with the power banks, that kind of stuff in
Yeah,
there. So
that's
you never
perfect.
know.
Yeah, that's perfect for a power bank.
Yeah, so I'll put all that stuff there. So if I'm traveling, through an airport or something, that's where all the quick access stuff will be, and then I don't have to worry about getting into my gear unless I need to take a picture or something.
And the other thing is too, I've noticed that you guys are going to this different material. Um, is that kind of like is that waterproof, the material? Like, because it's you guys got that cool gray going on. That's like a popular gray in the market right now.
Yeah, everything's treated so it's all going to be water resistant. So
Okay.
water should just bead right off of it. But yeah, it's just kind of a more unique style than our ballistics nylon, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It brings it a little bit more, I guess, more up to date. More
Yeah.
fashionable than
Yeah.
anything. So it
Yeah.
doesn't look like a camera bag. It just looks like a pretty, a sleek backpack. So that's kind of the key there.
And that's always been something that I like about. I mean, that's one reason why we carry a lot of your bags is that it's. I like the fact it's good to be incognito. I mean, that's what I liked about
Mm-hmm.
Tamrac. It was like my photo backpack actually looked like my school backpack. So
Yeah,
there wasn't any advertising. It didn't say like Canon or Nikon on it, so it was kind of like, hey, that guy's got a camera.
exactly.
That's something that I like about it. And with that, I mean, can we talk a little bit about one of my other favorites, the Turnstile series? Not Turnstile, sorry,
The
the
photocross.
Photocross. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably looking at me like Turnstile, man. What an amateur. Um, yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite series. I love the fact, and I don't know if I grabbed. Oh, I didn't grab a 10. I got a 13 here though. But between the gray, I'll kind of show the gray here. This is what the gray style looks like compared to the Ember Orange.
Yep.
What is one of your what's the top seller between these two? Between the gray
Oh
and the
man,
orange?
it's almost like 50-50, but I can tell you one thing. I know a lot of Sony shooters like to go with the Ember Orange.
Yeah, and that's kind of like when you guys. I think you told me that when I talked to you when that came out. It's like, well, I mean, that's good for Sony people, and right away I was kind of like, I use that every time. Like, well, it'll match your camera at
Yes,
least.
it will, definitely.
And but one thing I like about it, outside of I love how you guys did the trim. Like you use the zippers as kind of like that highlight.
Yep.
And I kind of tell people like, hey, I would go for the orange because if you're in the woods and you set your bag down, you're not gonna miss it. Or I kind of think back to the George Bush era, and who was was it his vice president? Was it Cheney who shot another guy in the woods?
I believe that's correct.
So it's like you'll be able to avoid one of those acts, possibly avoid one of those
Right, that,
incidents.
that that hunter orange. Yeah.
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 But I like that you did something here outside of this being a sling style bag,
Hmm.
like the XS8 and XS10. You guys did something different with the strap. I don't think people can see this, but there's like a Swiss cheese design inside there.
Yeah, we made it with very breathable material. So, it doesn't build up with like sweat, that kind of stuff. It breathes. It stays cool. So if, you're on a long hike, that kind of stuff, it's not going to get all funky. So we try to make it so it's very breathable. Also, it's very lightweight. So that's the other
Yes.
key is, when you're out there, the last thing you want to do is carry more stuff, even though a lot of people want to bring everything. So the best way is to make the bag as light as possible, and that material is really lightweight. So that helps out with the ability to carry more gear, and that being the weight versus the weight of the bag.
And I'm just gonna try to put it on because when it's a sling, so I just simply slide it in front of myself, and then it opens up. One of the other things I like is that it opens up away from you,
Yeah,
and that's another design because I've seen bags that, like one of the downfalls for me with messengers is that they kind of the flap opens up towards you, and
yeah, and that's tough because it's tough to look into it. It gets in your way. This way, the flap opens away from you, so you can kind of see everything. At the same time, if you wanted to, you can hold the flap up a little bit, so you can kind of keep your stuff guarded a little bit for a
yeah.
little extra security, so people don't have to see everything. What we call the yard sale effect, where you just open it up and everything's there for everyone to see. It gives you
Advertising.
that, yeah, it gives you a little bit more security, so you don't reveal everything that's in there.
Hmm. And I know, like, what I like that you guys did with this is that you've got your vertical pockets in there, but
Hmm.
you got two additional like horizontal pockets that you can use as, horizontal dividers in there as well.
Yeah, the one thing that we also do with all our bags is we kind of give everyone more dividers than they need.
Hmm.
So the idea is you can kind of configure your bag any way you want, and you should have enough dividers to do absolutely everything, which is nice. With the extra dividers and that kind of stuff, the nice thing, especially with a lot of cameras, a lot of people shooting more primes nowadays, is they're going to carry more than one, and now they have extra dividers. Can I use as like a pillow in between the two to cushion them and
Yeah,
separate them so they're not jiggling together?
and I do like how you guys did. This was unique. I thought that this double zipper up top, it's kind of fun to play with because I've never seen zippers kind of back up to each other like this.
Yep, you can use either one, so it
Yeah.
makes it a little easier. You don't have to decide and try to figure out which is which because both of them will open and close either side.
And you can mount a tripod on the front right here through these two mounts,
You
these two
can
little hooks,
you
and
can
then
do it in
there's
the front or the side if you decide not to utilize the water pouch, the
yeah,
water bottle pouch.
yeah. So you have more of a pocket here, like the tripod foot pocket on these other bags,
Yeah,
with the top mount. And then I noticed that you guys use like a different material on this, like versus the again that's we had the ThinkTank access, the urban access, but you guys got different materials on this as well.
yeah, we have tarpaulin on there, so that's going to be a little bit better for going against gravel, that kind of stuff on the
Hmm.
ground, where you're not sure if you have a really sharp rock on the bottom, that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a little bit more less likely to penetrate over time.
Yeah, I just love, again, one of my favorite bags. I think when this came out, um, you guys had sent a sample over, and I loaded that thing up with Fuji gear. Nonetheless, I got a chance to test the XT20 because
Hmm.
we just got a bunch of Fuji stuff in, and I just remember carrying that thing. Like if I took it off, I could just carry it around with the top handle. I thought that was a great addition too. Instead of from the top, there's the
Yep.
horizontal one, so I could kind of carry it kind of like a messenger bag, and it just was really well balanced, and setting on the ground and stuff was so nice.
Yeah, those are both excellent bags, and they've really proven to be great assets when you're out there, taking pictures in nature. Just a quick access because you never know when you're going to see out there, whether it's a deer running across or whatever. It's right there.
And you guys eventually did a backpack series for that as well, the 13 and the 15.
We did. A lot of people, some people like myself aren't really big on slings.
Mm-hmm.
And backpacks just seem to be the way to go. So, when you hear enough people say like, really wish, we had a backpack or something like that, same kind of idea went to it. So the beauty of the backpack is it's lightweight, unlike some other bags that we make, like the backlight, that tend to be a little bit more heavy. These are lighter weight, and you also have that quick access on the side. So
Yeah,
like the
which
13
is
is my favorite because it
yep.
fits everything I need. And when I'm out there, it's just I can pull my camera really quick right out, hold it out there, and then just shoot away.
And this now, would you say the 13 can that fit a 70 to 200 in there, or would that be more of like the mirrorless style 70 to 200s, or like in your case, what's the Fuji equivalent?
It would be the 50 to 140.
50 to
So you
140.
can actually fit that in there.
Okay.
The problem would be if you have a grip on there.
Yep.
So non-grip would probably be a bit better. It would fit nicer. You can do like a 7200 detached
Okay.
on
Yeah. Yeah.
a standard body.
Yep. So you wouldn't want it mounted, but you could get it in here, is what you're
Oh, you
saying.
could, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Another design thing that we do is a lot of everything that we make, we kind of design around the 70 to 200 2.8, whether it's the mirrorless
Okay.
side or on the DSLR side. Is we know that that's the bread and butter for a lot of photographers. So their first thought is, okay, will it fit a 70 to 200? And if it doesn't, then we'll try to make a size. So the multiple sizes, will have the ability somewhere to fit the 70 to 200. Kind of like a retrospective line. We have 5 different sizes.
Mm-hmm.
The retrospective 5 is a smaller shoulder bag. That may not fit the 70 to 200. However, we do make a retrospective that does fit the 70 to 200. And I think that would be the 7. So the 70 to 200 will fit in the retrospective 7 unattached, but then we also make the 20 the retrospective 20, which will fit attached, which is great. So we try to incorporate that lens with every bag that we make. Is will it fit that lens, because that is the most popular lens that people are shooting these days.
And again, I'll get to one of my favorites because Oren was talking when we were talking Fuji. Oren kind of chimed in. He says the Fuji 100 to 400 fits well in the traveler bag, and he was saying he was trying to remember what it was, and he was saying, "Oh, it's my airport essentials." So,
Yep.
again, I got to talk about. I mean, these are all my favorites. But what I loved about this bag is that it can still fit under a seat, but I've got all that space for all kinds of gear. I mean, I remember flying out to Colorado. I had I had three bodies. I had an EM1 II, an A7R2, and a Canon 5D3 with a slew of lenses that I took with me. And you guys really went all out with this one because you can still do the tripod connection here. But it's like a Velcro, and you have an extra handle right here as well for if you want to carry it kind of like a briefcase.
Yeah, so that's the Airport Essentials. That's the full name of the bag. And the beauty with the Airport series is we incorporate it for traveling by air. So the thing with the handles is there's the ability to grab at any point on any side to help you two-handedly grab it from the overhead if you decide to use it for the overhead, and bring it down. So it's just easier, so you're not fumbling it or accidentally drop it. You have a good handle, so to say, on the bag as you're pulling it out.
No pun intended on that.
No pun intended. Now, where this bag is not as like sleek looking as like say the Urban Access side, this is definitely made to just carry as much as you can while you're while it's with you on the airplane. So this bag, it's just a square. It's like a box, but the beauty of that is that's the best way to get basically as much stuff in something without having any wasted space whatsoever. So that will be a bag that I usually use when I go on, long travels, like a business trip or something like that. And then I will basically squish down like a retrospective bag, one of our shoulder bags, in my carry-on luggage with all my clothing. So then that way, when I get to my destination, this has everything, but then I'll just pull out what I need for the day and I'll put that in my shoulder bag and then away I go.
And so it kind of sounds like, and this is something I need to do. It kind of sounds like it's good to have like a source bag, like a central bag that has everything that you can kind of glean your gear from. So it's like your main organizer. I've kind of got I've got 3 or 4 cameras with maybe, because I got some specialty lenses getting upwards to maybe 10 plus lenses. Is there something bigger than the airport that I should look into that can kind of be like my home base where I can keep it in my closet and I can glean from it when I need?
Oh yeah. So, if you're sticking with, just organizing and you like the backpack, we have bigger size backpacks. So we have the airport commuter, and then we have the accelerator, which are very similar to the essential. They just carry, more equipment and bigger. So for example, if you have a grip body, that kind of stuff, then you'd want to go to the commuter or even the accelerator. But then we get into, all our different rollers that we have out there, which not only do well for, travel, because we make a roller for each individual or each type of travel. So like example, the airport international is made for international travel. And then we have the airport security, which is made for domestic travel. And again, you always have to check your airlines to make sure, that, you're within the size limits.
Sure.
But those are made to be the more popular for those types. But a lot of times, I know a lot of photographers don't really, travel a lot, but they just like to organize. So I usually tell them, get the airport security because that's going to carry everything that you need. And the beauty of that bag specifically too is that's the one roller bag that you can take a 70 to 200 2.8 and you can fit it vertically, which is great. And that gives you a lot more real estate room to put in extra stuff, whether you have multiple flash units or all that kind of stuff. And that would be a good bag to kind of keep in your closet. And then, if you do studio and you have a lot of studio lights, then you can look into our manager series. We make a 30-inch. We make a 30-inch rolling case. That's our logistics manager. And then we make our production managers 40 and 50-inch tall bags. So if you have tons of extra gear, then you want to go to those guys. Just to kind of give you an example on size, like the production manager 50, you can fit C-stands in there and a bunch of lights. Or strobes. So that would be like your go-to travel to, different destinations, and that's the traveling studio for you. Or, I got some photographers that I know that just keep that in their studio just to kind of keep it nice and safe and secure and, away from, the dust and all that stuff, but it's nice and organized.
Mm-hmm.
So there's multiple ways you can use bags. They don't have to be just to travel. They can be just to organize everything. I know I have I have a logistics manager in my closet that I keep all my studio strobes and all that stuff. And that really doesn't go anywhere but my closet. And then I use everything else that I need for travel. And I just pull out from there.
Okay. Yeah, really cool. Well, I kind of promised I'd only take an hour of your time, and we're coming up here on like 5 minutes too. So, I think I'll stop going through some of these other bags. But I do want to thank you for, allowing us to kind of get this glimpse into, what you do as a national sales manager, what, ThinkTank and MindShift are doing for us as like vendors and as customers. Are there any with 5 minutes remaining? Do you have any like passing thoughts or any advice for anyone out there as far as your bags or just photography? Because as a photographer yourself, it's always nice to get perspective of from someone else.
Yeah, well, let's see. One thing I would definitely say is, there is no one bag for everything. So I've learned that, especially working with this company. You see that everyone designs for, specific things and to do do certain things like hiking versus just walking down the street. We build and design for those. So there's not one bag out there. I hate to tell you, but that's true. The other thing I like to tell people is, you want to, when you're looking at a bag is, try to look and maybe purchase a little bit bigger than you think you need. So that advice is mainly for those people who, they have a bag, they got their camera gear and all that stuff. They're super excited. Get something that's going to fit a couple extra things later down the line, because in this hobby, you're going to get more stuff. It's just, you're going to.
So something to grow into is what you're saying.
Exactly. Always
Yes,
buy it
okay.
to grow into, which is nice.
Good. Well, outside of, those are great, excellent tips, especially the last one, something to grow into. So again, the special goes from June 1st, which we're already past, but we're
Yep.
go to the 21st for an extra 20% off of anything in the inventory. It doesn't matter what you guys have. It's just anything in the ThinkTank MindShift inventory.
Exactly. Anything
And-
ThinkTank MindShift.
And we can, and customers can special order that we could special order it and still get it sent in.
Yes,
for that too?
definitely. Oh yeah, we're
Okay.
ready for you. So, if you have a couple things that people want you don't have, we'll send it to you, no problem.
Okay, so you guys heard it straight from the national sales manager. If we don't have it, which again we can only have so much in little old West Michigan, but we can special order it for you. And it sounds like Josh and the guys at ThinkTank MindShift can get it to us.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, hey Josh, again, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you've got some things that you've got to kind of get some wraps on here later today. But I want to thank you again for giving us an hour of your time, kind of giving us this kind of intro perspective of what you do and what ThinkTank MindShift is doing for us. And I want to say thank you for giving us your time today.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
So with that, guys, we'll sign off. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys have any questions for me, you can always contact me at the camera shop. Just ask for Justin. You can go to justin@camerashopmuskegon.com. That's my email. Check out our website, camerashopmuskegon.com, or give us a buzz, 231-733-1286. We're here for you 10 to 4. Sounds like social distancing is going to lift, so our hours might change. But for right now, 10 to 4, Monday through Friday. In the meantime, enjoy the beautiful day. Take care, and we hope you guys will stop in and see us soon. We'll see
All
you.
right. Thank you. See you guys.